Remember, you are given as your richest birthright the privilege of controlling your own thoughts. Therefore, treat this divine gift with the profound respect to which it is entitled, and do not allow anyone to do your thinking for you, or to influence your thinking in any manner whatsoever, except by the rules of accurate thinking I am passing on to you. Follow this procedure regardless of what people think or say about your method of thinking. If they wish to call you a cynic or a doubting Thomas, let that be their misfortune. But for your own good, go right on thinking by rules which will save you from many mistakes and tragedies throughout your life.
Hello, everyone. My name is Irene Daniel, and I welcome you to the episode 10. My God, it's really like amazing how time goes by, and I would say the moment is now. Today we are in episode 10. Imagine that, and it is a journey towards really personal mastery. Today, we will dive deep into one very powerful principle of accurate thinking, a powerful tool that helped me, and I'm sure it will help you to harness the immense power of thought. So I am very excited today to have you here, and I am truly amazed how these principles really can shape your life, your way of being. And I'm very curious to know and how you are engaging week by week with these principles so far. So tell me, how are you finding these principles? Are you having any question about these principles? And how is your experience? Because each and every principle here that I already presented to you, they are worthless when we are not really implementing in our daily lives. And this is the truth. Okay, so I would love to hear about more of the kind of experience that you are having. Did you notice any shifts already presented to you in your daily life? How are you activating that greater pieces of a greater version that is within you through these principles? Because these principles, as I'm always really underlining, they are let's say, keys. They are very much order and structure way that you can really study, but then start to implementing each and every day. And this is, of course, a decision, you see. But when you're here, there's a reason. And so I would really suggest that you ask yourself, you start to think by asking yourself, why am I here? So I can assure you, there is nothing like commitment. When you are committed, and to be committed is you are all in. There's no, okay, maybe tomorrow, and let's see how it goes today if I have time. You see, either you are in or you're not. There's nothing like in the middle. Okay? So write a yes or write a no if you all in, if you are engaged. Be true to yourself. And it's of course a preparation, but somehow, and see it like this, we just have today as a fact. You see, acrobatic thinking starts already here. You see, it's a fact that today is the only day that I know I have the chance to change, to recognize first what is supposed to change, and actually start to implement these principles when you don't know where to start. These principles will help you in this path of growth, which is, from my perspective, the true life. Yes, because we began to be much more in alignment with and in the flow of our predestined personality. Yes, that it's every day to be recognized by accurate thinking, of course, and then really to walk the talk. Okay, so I would love that you share in how you are really experience these principles. Are you really stepping in the full potential, piece by piece, by recognizing, by thinking through questions, and achieving your vision, your purpose, and of course your intentions? You need a direction. Definiteness of purpose is here to help you, to support you. Yes? When you don't have a direction, you are drifting. And when you start to use understanding now this principle, accurate thinking, when you start really to understand what is this principle and how can it work for me, what this principle can really activate within me. So you are thinking for yourself, okay? I can guarantee you really the true essence of life, because the true essence of life is really within you, So let's take a moment to reflect, to connect, and let's have that leader attitude. Yes, that leadership. And share actually what is your intention. How committed are you on implementing these principles? Share a bit about your life. Where are you at now in your awareness? What are the shifts you want to do within yourself that has the great potential to change something outside? Yes. So, of course, I want to welcome you to this episode that is, as I was telling you already, our episode 10, Accurate Thinking. And this is so powerful when you start to understand. So that's why I'm here, to bring you the awareness, and it's a higher service. And as I was saying, I'm repeating myself, commitment is necessary. Yes, commitment is necessary. And are you ready to to make decision that is engaged with a higher purpose, with a higher vision? Yes. And this, if you are engaged, you can really unlock it through the power of accurate thinking. So let's dive into this in how you can mastering your thoughts and how can they transform your life. And of course, we are moving direct in this principle as I am sharing the declaration by Napoleon Hill. In his works, Hill says that the power of thought, now pay attention, the power of thought is the most dangerous or the most beneficial power available to man. Depending, of course, upon in how it is used. So thoughts has the power to build empires and civilization, has the power to build a great life for yourself, but it also has the potential to tear them down. Yes. The power lies in how we choose to use it. And Hills emphasizes that thought is the one thing we have absolute control over. So you see, here starts freedom. This is where freedom starts. When you become aware that the only thing that we really can choose and we have control over is the way we think. When, I don't know about you, but the first time I really connected with this principle, I was so amazed. I was so amazed in how this principle is actually a fact. It is a fact. Yes, when we start really to think with questions. We can only change the way we see when we start to think. Everything that we see, we have to think through questions if it's that a fact or if is that a fiction, which I'm going to talk about very soon. But the only thing that you can really change, now be true to yourself, is the way you think. What kind of thoughts you choose to amplify by focusing on it. How are you choosing to think? Be aware in the kind of thoughts you are repeating over and over. And where are they coming from? Okay. He goes on to explain that accurate thinkers doesn't just rely on emotions. Accurate thinker, they are not just being influenced by emotions, desires, or quick decisions. We should make very fast decisions, but we must become first, let's say, very much aware where this impulse comes, where comes this decision, from where it comes. There's a preparation first. So instead, the accurate thinker submits them to examination of mind. This is what I was telling you just for some seconds away. Okay? So you need to evaluate, measure, and ponder the importance of thought before the thoughts that you are generating or having, before you act on them. Okay? So accurate thinker separates facts from fiction, ensuring that they distinguish between what is truly important and what is irrelevant. By accurate thinking, you start really to think through actions. And this requires awareness. Understanding first what is accurate thinking, but now I start to make bigger questions that will give me the answers. Yes. And these answers will come always from a vision, with an image. And so we need a kind of guidance here, because it really goes against all beliefs that we may have within us, that we operate with or from. So I have to tell you that fiction is here in regards you discerning what is objectively true from what is merely opinion, assumption, fear, rumor, or emotional distortion. Okay? And this has only to do with yourself. This process of thinking, it has to do in regards only to yourself. Okay? And so for me, it's accurate thinking is about moving really from reacting to responding. As I really experience this principle, which activate me in such a greater ways. That's why I'm here, because I know the impact that has not only in my life, but in all lives of people that really were committed, yes, engaged, and really stay aligned, yes, by discernment, what is fact and what is a fiction. So in my perspective, it's really moving from that impulse of reaction and start to respond to situations that comes along in life. Yes. So And what does that mean? That means that before I act on an emotion, I start to first to understand where this emotion comes from. You see, when I start to understand in the depth of the meaning of accurate thinking, yes, then I start really, before I act on any emotion, I first start to think through questions, yes, and I need to understand where is this emotion coming from. Because I have to tell you, emotions are related with habits, yes, with limited beliefs, has very much to do, that are very much related with experiences. These are will be translated through emotions. And we must be very much aware of where this emotion comes from. You see, with that we start to put order. You see, just this small principle. I mean, this is just one principle. And I told you that all the principles are connected. Every principle is connected to another one. This is not separated. I'm just here bringing you 2 times a week at 3 p.m. just remembering you every principle, but each and every principle activates something within you. Here activates a higher perspective, activates a higher perspective on how you see yourself. It activates the awareness, yes, where you are now, and it projects you through a higher perspective, coming from a higher consciousness. A certain personality that is ready actually within you to be expressed, but is through the accurate thinking over and over. This is the key principle, actually, yes? That really will bring great solutions in your life. This will bring solutions in and will activate 100% that full potential that is within you. So this principle really helped me not to react, but to respond. Because every time I made a decision in my life, since I know these principles, and actually they activate something greater that was always within me, yes, I started to understand first what kind of emotions am I coming from and making this decision. We need to understand first what kind of emotions are these emotions, where they're coming from. Are they coming from a whole habit, old beliefs, experience? How kind of experience is really impacting me now through emotions by making this decision? That today, that will have an impact, an effect somehow in my life. And I'm through these emotions, I'm expressing a decision, acting on it, yes, that actually will be in form of a result. It will impact my life. It will impact first within me, but then it will be reflected. So our emotions are oft deep connected to our thoughts. You see, when we have a certain emotion, become aware of kind of thoughts you have when you are being led by in this order. Yes. When you are very much being directed by emotions, and this, of course, let's say the majority of the world population is being led by emotions. With this principle, you can change everything, okay? And these emotions can either elevate you or keep you stuck in old patterns. This is what I recognize when I started to practice. When I started to apply all these principles in my life, I recognized even that it was always present, but not with structure, not with order. Yes? How many of you, I'm talking to you, are you being led by acrobatic thinking, or are you being led, yes, by emotions? And what kind of emotions is predominant within you? And are you reacting or are you responding to life? Okay. Share in the comments, and I will read it all. And of course, if you want to connect then with me and go in the depth of these principles so that you start to master your mind, to master your life, yes, to impact, then just write, I am ready. When you write, I am ready, I will connect with you, okay? So it's really easy to be caught in reacting to emotions because it's the way we always have been learned, yes? Especially when they come from an old limited belief. It's something that we are used to. So it's familiar, it's easier, we say, but is there something out of greater? Is there something greater? Yes. Or is just something that we think it's secure, and for sure this emotion it feels really like it has to be done like this. But the feeling that you are having, you must discern. Here you really have to start to think, to separate what is a fact, what is a fiction, what kind of thoughts are these, where kind of thoughts are coming from. Are these thoughts coming from an habitual way of thinking, from an emotion, from a habit? Yes, from a limited belief? Is this a fact? And if it is a fact, how can I see it from a higher perspective? This is really changing the life that is flowing through you in order and structure, changing in greater manifestation of a personality that has that leader attitude, that has the power to impact, it has the power to bring the change in the world, yes, in your community as a human being. When you start really to understand how to think. And think is not really hard. It's really easy when we start to understand that all we need is to make questions. To understand, of course, too. Yes? So, accurate thinking really requires us to be mindful. It requires us to be very much aware of our inner world. What is happening with me? It requires you to stop looking outside, to focus outside, and starts to call you in that space of great creation, in that energy field, yes, of your imagination. Questions will be made from you, and the answers will be gained in or formed through a vision. Yes? We really must ask ourselves, is this emotion aligned with my higher self? You see, this is when you start to really to make questions to yourself. You see, it's a very easy question. Is this emotion in which I am living aligned with a higher version of myself, someone that I know that has the quality to transmute that vision, that frequency in certain new habits and new beliefs that will, through decisions, affect my reality in the 3D, in results, let's say like that. Yes? This emotion that you may be operating from when you want to make a decision, is that aligned with not just with your higher, better, greater version, higher personality? Is coming from that higher version that I know I am and recognizing pieces of it? Is this emotion from that higher place, or it's coming from a past conditioning, whole habits, whole beliefs? Because if it's really coming from an old belief, old way of thinking, an existence personality cannot give you a different result. When this emotion is coming from past experience that are memorized in the memory of your brain, in your brain cells, yes, they cannot come and really bring you, by you making a decision, you are transmuting again, coming from that higher, from that way of thinking. It will not give you the possibility to create something new. So it's very important to understand what kind of emotions are you operating from, what kind of thoughts are you repeating. And when you make decisions, are you reacting from a reaction or from a responding? Yes. So it's important to make great questions. And this is the questions I made to myself when I started really to go into depth in mastering my mind in excellence with a greater purpose and intention. As a human being, as a business owner, as a mother, as a member in my community that shares great value, and not just knowledge, but also transformation, you see? And regardless in which area I am talking about in my life, I am being always greater because I decided, because this is in alignment with my true higher self. Okay? So for me, this is something that I am still continually working on, because we all have a great potential for growth at any given time. Yes. Every day when I wake up, and I'm sure it resonates with you, when I wake up, I'm already giving thanks. Why? Because I understand today, which is a fact, tomorrow is just a belief. It's not still a fact. It's just a belief. So what is fact? Fact is that I only have today to be that greater self that I was, greater than I was yesterday. You see? This is my mindset now. So I was giving thanks. I give thanks every day for having the great possibility to be greater in all who I am, in what I am, in what I do. And this gives me so much significance in my life. It gives me the meaning in life and the fulfillment. So there is always, and I am sure it resonates also with you, there is always the possibility for you to be greater. I don't know how are you new in personal development, in personal growth? That's why I wanted to know your intention. Yes, why you're here. So if you are new in this journey of personal growth, understand this is the true life in my perspective. Okay. And so when you start to study this material and apply in your life, and this will activate something within you, so you start really to express it, let's say, yes, you will understand that really there is so much room to grow, to know what is possible, that actually the goal and the vision is not more important. You see, you start really to be much more connected with this accurate thinking, and more to think about what is possible. How can I be even greater in which I was being called to be and do and have ultimately. Okay? There are always a higher level of consciousness towards a greater future, towards that vision, which is like here to be breaking down in goals, yes, parts that has to do with the level of your awareness in matching this, what you want, with which you must be. in order to become that life. Yes? So let me give you an example. Let me give you an example in regards to this principle. Yeah. So the vision of who I want to be has always been very much clear. But it's not just about how I want to live, you see, but who I want to be in that life. So I have a vision, but the vision is just the process, you see, the direction. So what kind of personality do I will recognize by today? But today I am recognizing while I'm walking. Yes. What kind of personality, pieces of me that by studying and applying these principles, I started to really, it started to come to the surface. And these pieces that I started to recognize within me are this personality that I am seeing me to be in the future, but today. I don't know if you really can understand what I'm telling you here. And when you understand this, it's very amazing, miracle. It's really life becoming a miracle. Have so much essence. Have so much essence. So when I see myself, for example, as a financially free and inspiring leader, which I am, impacting the world with my services, I am very much connected to that higher version of myself. This is me seeing myself in that vision, which is a direction, which is the process of me being that leader from that future. But today, I am not waiting that circumstances show up so that I can start to be me. I always say that. You see, but the emotions that comes up in me, where there is fear, doubt, or even frustration, does not always align with that vision. In the process of me understanding all these principles, especially accurate thinking, I started to observe that, of course, there was fear, of course, there was doubt, of course, this was frustration. Yes, I was observing the emotion. But I understood that this don't have anything to do, yes, with that, and it is not aligned with that version that I am seeing to be in that future, yes, in that dimension that actually already exists, yes. And so I had to ask myself, is this emotion coming from that higher personality that I see myself to be in that vision? In other words, this is a self-image that I received about a future self, a higher self, a better, greater version. Yes? That only my belief is saying that I'm operating now. Is saying this is just a dream. This is not the truth. This is an illusion. But it's because it's a belief, you see. It's a belief. I understand today that the belief is what makes things possible. Before I start, this is just a dream. But a dream is nothing but like a life plan. That's all. That's all. All we need is to create the belief. And the belief, create the belief, it means to recognize. To recognize. It's okay to recognize who we truly are. Especially when you start to think accurate. So I started to make that question. Is this emotion fear, doubt? Yes, frustration, coming from that higher version? Is that aligned with that higher version that I know, otherwise I would not see myself to be there in the future? But I always thought that, okay, but I need the right circumstance. This is the way I was always thinking before I came to the personal development. Yes? I didn't understood that I was not thinking accurate. I was being led from an emotion that was very much limited and was giving me a self-image that is not the true me. This is already existing. You see? It's a fact. She's here. But I know I can be, I can do and have better when I know the process, when I know the order, when I know the structure. And this I win. You see, I win by making decision that comes from engaging me with a higher force and be loyal. Okay? So I feel, you see, this feel that I am feeling now is not coming from an old pattern. This is really being me, that comes from that first accurate thinking. You see, I am recognizing where this emotion coming from. I'm very much aware. This is not an old pattern, old belief. Yes, this is my truth. So this is the power I have within me. That I am here, regardless if there's 0 person here or 1 billion people here. Yes, I am still being me. I am still being authentic. You see, it is a fact that in this precise moment, there is no one on this chat, okay? But you see, is that my truth? No, it's not. It is a fact. But I am coming out of a self-image, a personality that is in that vision that I received because I was thinking, yes, through questions, and now through accurate thinking, I distinguish what is a fact, what is an illusion, yes? And I keep myself very much centered in recognizing why I'm coming here. It doesn't matter the circumstances, the fact is what it is. But the fact that is what it is don't have no control over who I am. I am still being me. You see how powerful this is? How much confidence people can really start to gain. People that were living in that illusion of emotion, not thinking accurate, not even understanding what is that actually. I didn't know that too. Yes, this is my example. The same way when I started my business, fact was that I had 55 euro in my bank account 3 years ago, okay? Fact was that was 55 euro in my bank account with no savings. Yes? So now I had to think about, this is really accurate thinking. So it's a fact. Now, there was an emotion that came along while I was you see, looking the fact. Start to say, my God, I cannot start a business with a 55 euro. How can I? No, this is impossible. It's impossible. I was observing that part of that emotion, of that self-image. I'm not enough as a personality. I need that money so that I can be and do and have. You see? I observed that. So I started to think accurate, and I was observing the data. This was an information and was a fact. Okay? I started to make an account what I need to start a business. You know, what kind of papers I need to move, decisions that I have to make. I write everything down. I made accounts, yes, to see how much money I need to start it. You see, I was already starting, although it was 55 euro on my bank account. This fact, yes, and this illusion of me thinking I cannot start that business, yes, that is very successful, as a matter of fact, both the personal development in the healing arts, yes, I really didn't really thought that would be possible. But when I started to think accurate, I started to realize that this way of thinking, it's not possible, I don't have the money enough, it really coming from a limited belief about who I am, a limited belief, a habit in how I was all the time, being very much led by this emotion, reflecting in the fact. It was just a fact, but it was not impossible. Yes? But because I started to think then accurate, I said, okay, it's 55 euro that I have as a fact. But you know, how can I start it? Where I am now, today, in this mindset that I started to recognize that it's an emotion, it's where this emotion comes from. I started to study it through the mentorship that I was having, of course. But anyhow, I was doing the work. Bob Proctor was not doing the work for myself. I was doing the work. Me. Okay? This is the truth. I was doing the work. And you know what? I was ready. I was ready to do the work. I was engaged. The more I studied, the more I went in the depth, the more I recognized the greatest, where I'm coming from. I was being renewed from the spirit in my mind, very slowly, piece by piece, using these principles, activating parts of me. I'm giving you an example, and this is the truth, it's fact. Okay? So I started to say to myself, okay, with who I am today, in what I have today, how can I start? This is where I started really to make a list. Yes, I had, of course, already that direction. I had already a self-image, created a self-image, created how I saw myself in that image. I saw her. I started to write direct, to journal direct. Yes, I was not like, oh, this is, yeah, I was ready to follow. I was ready to follow. Now I am leading. Now I am leading. God gave me the power to lead. Yes. And so, really, I realized that when I was thinking with the higher consciousness, through questions, through awareness, vision, yes, When I was being very much loyal, understanding, and staying connected to my vision, the emotion follow. You see, when I was using accurate thinking and coming from that higher frequency of thought, when I received that vision, that it's actually just a direction, a plan that is used for me to accelerate something greater out of me in the expression. Yes. When I stay connected to my vision, it means I was very much focused on my vision, very much on my vision. I was not more very much connected to the emotion. First, I was accurate in coming from always from that vision, from that personality, from that self-image that I received, but then I was like writing it and seeing pieces of her being very much resonating with my true essence, and I started to recognize her. And I started to express her in persistence, with persistence and constantly. Yes? So this is very much crucial part of accurate thinking. Not allowing emotions to come between. Emotions, especially when I'm not aware, I'm not knowing, okay, why I'm making this decision, where this decision is coming from. Is the situation outside? What is that for a situation? Is there effect? Yes, but how it can influences me? And how can I influence the situation? So I started not allowing emotions to dictate my decisions, but rather having the discipline to respond to the higher version, to be committed, loyal to that higher version, and not be controlled by an old limited habit. So I came to understand that accurate thinking is a continual process. It's an ongoing commitment to realigning myself with that higher, greater version of who I am truly are, recognizing it every day. And this is my truth. And I am keeping my thoughts, my emotions, and actions in alignment with that vision. The vision is really the direction, and I direct everything from thought to emotion to the action in alignment. And when that doubt, that fear, anything that don't have anything to do with that higher personality coming from that renewal from spirit in my mind, I say no, no, and no. I say always yes to what I know I receive as a direction, a vision, and I am always acting only from that frequency thought, not from the emotion. The emotion comes along. Eventually, you start to act on it. But in the beginning, you have to be very much careful, because you want to create something that is based in intention and purpose. Yes. You want to focus on the highest valuable, higher frequency of thought, of higher ideas. Regardless from fact outside. Fact is a fact. Okay, there's nothing to discuss. And you have to understand also what is a belief. That's why I would love that you really, when you feel resonant so far, that really see the replays. Yes, when you understand this principle, it's really amazing. in how much you start to have the control over your life. And this power you should never give no one, regardless, regardless, okay? It's a decision. You have the choice, okay? So let's keep here. I really always want to stay a bit less than 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes, but I mean, it's so amazing. It's so amazing, this principle. I love it. I just adore. And all I wish is that you be engaged with these principles and then watch your life changing. Watch your life changing. Yes? So, and of course, this journey has been really a constant growth. And to tell you the truth, I know that we never really going truly arrive at perfect thinking. Yes? It's really a lifelong practice. The vision is actually your life. You're completely life. Yes? And we're never going really to arrive there. This is a direction, you see, but it will guide you with a purpose. The purpose is what gives really power and intention to that vision that manifests through you with that higher personality. This is what I'm telling you. These pieces of you that you start to recognize. Okay? In my own journey, I really have learned to recognize when an emotion or thought is from the old me. I started to recognize through mindfulness. Through mindfulness, to be very much focused, to be very much present. Yes? And I started really to recognize the emotion coming from that old way of thinking, old patterns, old beliefs, old self-image that I had about myself, that I was always coming from. And when it comes from a new, higher version of myself, you start really to see, to feel, and most of the time how you feel. That's why when you start to feel, always recognizing from where it comes from. Yes, from where it comes from. Is that from that higher think, from that vision, from accurate thinking, you start to observe. You start to gain more clarity, more assurance. And even if the facts are not there, would that stop you? If you understand that the highest the thought, the highest it will be transmuted into belief, into action. You see, your perception to the world, it will be completely different. Because you're operating from a higher level of consciousness and thinking. Okay? So I really start to distinguish also the voice. The voice, yes. I started to distinguish the voice, the emotion, the voice, yes, through accurate thinking. Okay? It helped me to be more clear. And what I've come to realize is that I can hold that vision of who I want to be, even when the emotions don't match yet. You see, in the beginning, they don't match because we need to clean the closet. We need to recognize, we need to practice to practice. Preparation meets opportunity. The opportunity come along while you are practicing and cleaning and making space through accurate thinking. Okay? I really kept thinking accurately, focusing on the truth of my potential, not in that old emotions, in the old patterns, old way of thinking, old way of seeing myself, an existence model that it's already here. Okay, it's a fact. But I know I can be greater. I can do greater. You see, and through that, I am already being much more in alignment. Yes, we don't need the perfection. What we need is progress. Are you moving, or are you moving with progress? Coming from that vision, recognizing the emotion in which you are reacting versus responding to life. Okay, so this I was started to recognize. I really start to remind myself, especially when that doubt starts, old pattern starts, old belief starts really to hold me, not being in that progressive way that I know it's me. It's always being greater every day in that gratitude. Okay, I really start to understand that I can hold that vision no matter what emotion that is coming between. I have the power through understanding and applying accurate thinking. Yes, the emotion will always be there. Kind of emotion will always be there, but I have to really to understand where it comes from. And no matter what doubts and fear that are coming from old belief, I start to discern. Yes. And then I remain focused using my higher mental faculties given from Mother Nature, God, the universe, knowing and understanding how to apply them in order and structure. Yes. This makes a big difference. Now, skepticism will not bring you nothing. Okay? But if you make the decision to stay where you're at, then be happy where you're at now. Okay? But understand you can change everything. This is a responsibility. Yes, a responsibility. As I always say, it's not the world, is where are you thinking from? From that higher frequency thought, idea? Are you responding? Are you reacting? When you make decisions, from what kind of emotions? Yes? And even if doubt and fear shows up, you see now, because I know even if fear and doubt, yes, want to bring me to see something different outside, yes, I am very much focused on my vision, on that higher version that I am shaping through habits, through belief, higher belief. I receive a self-image. In that vision, there's a higher personality, which is me. I'm just learning to be even more greater, highest. And this is the process of life. This is being in alignment. This and accurate thinking helps. It supports. to understand. But through practice, by preparing. Preparation is key. It's key. Okay? So this is really what helped me to move from doubt to certainty. I was not even certain in the emotion, but I was certain there because I understand how the order structure is within my mind. I am mastering with excellence the power of mind, because this is a given gift, God, the universe, to all of us. But are you aware? Are you aware? That's why I'm here. That's why I am fire. I am in fire. Yes. Now, this emotion is very much aligned with that personality. You see, I am very much aligned, because not only from thinking comes nothing. This is the beginning. But accurate thinking, it selects, yes, the thought frequency. And mindfulness will bring you there. Mindfulness will bring you there. Because thoughts are seeds. And the more you focus, the more you practice, the more you are consistent, persistent, regardless, and always very much aware, it will grow. You will harvest. You start to transmute. Your belief will change, will be shaped from the highest direct. From the highest direct. So I'm always learning and growing from that the more I was focusing on thinking accurately, the more I was able to transcend old patterns and step into the person I meant to be. In that vision, I am being pieces of her every day. Yes, mindset. You have to be very much aware of what is set in your mind. What kind of emotions that you are operating are now creating the thinking, the reaction, or are you coming from that higher vision? And regardless from emotions, you focus on the vision and you make your decisions from that higher consciousness. Not anymore. If it's not in alignment with that vision, you have a choice now what to do, who to be. Maybe you still don't have the belief because that old belief is still very much ruling in your subconscious mind. But this is a question of time, of persistence. Yes, it's okay. And that's why it's so important that we have a community where we can be, not supported, but to have guidance, to share with higher minds, greater minds. Yes? Be selective and never settle for less. Okay? And this is, of course, a choice. But I am here really to represent something greater. And I am representing something greater. Who are you representing, and where this something greater is coming from? From an old existence being, yes? Or from a new perception of yourself in which you are determined to, regardless situation, to express it. Yes? So, let's go. Father, yes. Visualize your future self. Tell me, who are you seeing to be in that vision? You see, you have a vision. Who is this person? Do you see yourself in that vision? You must see yourself because you asked and then you received. So you are there in that vision. So who is that person there? Yes? How are you seeing yourself to be in that vision? Write, journal. How you see yourself as financially free? How is your relationships? How is your health? How are you impacting through expression outside your community? Are you empowering others? Are you being authentic? Are you living authentically? Yes? Now, check your current thoughts and emotions. Are they aligned with that vision, with that higher personality? Yes? Because purpose carries vision. The intention ignites everything who you are. You see, but in that vision that you can really experience in your reality is really by expressing that personality. So you are expressing whatever this personality is wanting in that vision. You must coming from that vision and express it. How you can express your vision through actions, through words, in your behavior, in your attitude. You see how the resonance, how are you expressing it, and how are you using all these principles really are helping you when you are engaged. So if you are really having the necessity, you have the let's say you need that support, that accountability. So that's why it's here YouTube channel. Yes, we have a great team organization, Napoleon Hill Institute, in which you also can connect with, or with my services. Yes, book a call with me. Yes, and really now ask yourself, what is stopping you? What is stopping you to make that step, that decision? If you understand the emotion of doubt, fear, frustration, yes, so understand, go higher. You feel the resonance here, but you still not so much emotionally connected with that change, that you still don't exactly know what, but you know that there is something resonance, but the emotion is like controlling you now, and you will justify through the way you start to think and to see outside. And then you say, oh, but this is the fact. Is it? Connect. You see, connect, make an engagement commitment. I am here to guide you. This is for sure. This is for sure. Okay? So, I would love to ask you, you may want to write in your journal the questions. If you don't know, then make over and over. Believe me, the question will help you to trigger the question, the answer. Okay? Have you ever experienced a moment when your thoughts or emotions didn't align with the person you aspire to be? I am sure you already had that experience, because we all have. Yes, just be authentic. I'm answering now for myself, you see, but I am sure that you already experienced moments where your thoughts and emotions were not really aligned with that higher version that you see to be, that you see yourself to be. in that vision. So what is your vision for the future? What kind, through thinking from thoughts, through thinking from questions, so what kind of vision did you receive from your future? And how are your current thoughts align with that vision? How can you practice accurate thinking? By separating facts from fiction and responding rather than reacting. So this, you don't have to gain the answer direct, but understand, when you still keep asking, you don't have to force, you see, because it's something that flows direct to you when you open, especially when you just allow, without skepticism. Okay, it will come to you, and then write it down. It has a meaning that maybe you still don't understand, and you maybe it's like it don't make no sense. No, it's just the awareness is missing. Everything makes sense. Yes, we can relate very much with things that we used to, decisions that we made in our lives, and then it then made that and they were the most greatest decisions, even if we were not aware. But when we go a bit back and just observe, we're going to recognize there also accurate thinking in some parts of our life being activated, but we didn't know that we were accurate thinking. Yes, you understand me? This accurate thinking we already used. You already were using it, maybe not in awareness, with full awareness, but we already use it. So how can you practice accurate thinking? Make a practice in your day life, every day. And when you start to apply it, be persistent in applying these principles. And then you will see a shift happening, energetic shift within you. And you start, of course, to not more to react, but responding, because you will take responsibility, I'm telling you. Yes. So let's take this practical moment. We're almost finishing. Just pause and reflect in your day life, okay? Especially when you want to make big decisions in your life. Yes, big or small, doesn't matter. Before you really make decisions, before you react to an emotion or thought, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this thought aligned with my higher vision, to my higher self? Start to question your thoughts. Focus on what is truly important. Separate the facts from the emotions. Reframe your thinking. When you catch yourself to the kind of emotions that are producing certain thoughts, yeah? If you find yourself in that old limited thought patterns, reframe them. Replace them with thoughts that are of a higher frequency, higher quality, thoughts that are aligned with your vision. And then stay loyal to that vision regardless, no matter the emotion, especially when you recognize that this emotion is coming from a belief, an old belief, from an experience, from a condition of your mind. especially there. Stay true to your purpose. That's why purpose is so important. And of course, to your higher self, that higher personality, that self-image, that person in that vision. Who is this person? Even if you're not seeing very much clear, there are pieces that even if you not believe, you start to recognize. There's a resonance there. It's like it feels true, but still not that belief. Yes, but it feels true. Yes. You start to be very much focused, regardless of emotions, in that vision, in that purpose, in that higher personality that you see to be in that vision of your future. And your future is actually today, is happening right now, is happening right now. Your thoughts and emotions will eventually align with that vision. They start to align, but you must bring the focus, have that mindfulness, using accurate thinking. And only after you start to think accurate, you make that decision very fast by responding, you see? But first you pause, you make questions, okay? Make this a habit, you see? This is a habit that actually starts to be very much effortlessly you. Okay? So, accurate thinking is really the key to transform your life. It bridges between, or it brings, is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. And the bridge is where? The bridge is today. By accurate thinking, when you realize where you are now and where you want to be, you coming from that vision now, you understand it's not that emotion, old patterns, old beliefs. Fact is fact, but it's just a fact. It's not bad and it's not good. It's just a fact. So, and now you, by bringing that focus, yes, you are being that future self through mindset and action. In these accurate things, you are shaping your future today. So when you think accurately, you can make decisions from a place of clarity, you see, and confidence, and you can separate facts from fiction and align your thoughts with your true self. Yes, and your higher purpose. And remember that the more you practice this principle, which is a key to activate something greater from you, that you start to operate from a higher consciousness, and always go to the spirit of your mind and coming and making that questions. And this is thinking from that part of you that is in your imagination, yes, where everything is formed through a vision. It's a reality, but you have to have the order and structure, okay? And the more you notice, the more you practice accurate thinking and all these principles that we are like since 1st April talking about 2 times a week, the more your emotions and behaviors and ultimately your life will shift. This is the result eventually, okay? So if this really resonates with you, as I was telling you before, right? Yes, I am ready. I want to go deeper in these principles, and we can have a free guidance call, and I will understand more in how or what kind of services are very much going to support you on this journey of greatness, journey of personal growth, development, be more interacted here in these sessions. It's really for you, and have that positive mental attitude, that leader attitude. It will serve you so good, I'm telling you. Okay, subscribe if really resonated with you, and you can also, of course, subscribe to my newsletters. We will send you, of course, so much powerful value that will really support you 3 times a week. You see, so much good. 3 times a week you'll gain tools and exercises in how you can implement this in your life. Of course, it's self-help. You have to help yourself in the process. If you, of course, want to go into depth, you have my support. The community is here. You have Napoleon Hill Institute, great organization to start with too. You see, I am very much connected with these principles, with the Napoleon Hill Institute, also through these principles, and of course the mission that we all carried with. Yes. And that's why I'm here also, being an expression of that purpose, being an expression of that mission, yes, in which I truly, fully believe and represent, regardless. Okay, so you can also, of course, be Saturday on my live session, in which my chosen topic, is how to create your business from the frequency of truth. And it's very much hand in hand with accurate thinking. So show up, be there at 8 p.m. Central Europe time. I am so grateful to have you here. And you also may want to click the notification bell, share with someone that you know is needing this message. I always say, even if it's not resonating with you, this is you, but maybe someone else will, and you will actually thinking accurate in this matter. Yes, it's really making that decisions, even if the emotion is not aligned with your highest thoughts, ideas. Just remain focused, have that courage, even the emotion is not telling you the same. Yes, if you start to think accurate, you will understand that this is not for your highest. It's already existing. You understand where it's coming from, this fear, this doubt. Yes, so when you start to selective everything that is already existing, you give space, you don't fight, you allow, but you are now very much being open and receptive to translate through a higher personality that vision every day through goals. Yes, the goals are here just as a higher level, that you always are coming from the representation of that vision, from purpose, intention, and accurate thinking. Okay, thank you so much for being here. It was again very much long, but I love it. I love it. I know I have my intention. Thank you so much for being here. See you Saturday at 8 p.m. Be there. You don't want to lose this session. And come with questions. Yes, interact. Be a leader. Okay, so thank you. See you very in YouTube series. I will see you Tuesday at 3 p.m. Otherwise, Saturday. God bless you. Keep shining. Keep opening the horizon of what is possible. And I know that you will change so much, but be willing to go through this process of growth. This journey of growth is a lifestyle, and it's really the life journey, let's say. Okay, thank you so much. God bless you.